Players coming right at each other.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
While the National Football League is scrutinizing every part more and more, there are still a number of things happening that just slip through the cracks. NFL players get paid a lot of money and get even more for wins, which means many of them are doing whatever it takes to play better. These are NFL players that broke the rules. Odell Beckham Jr., the world-class wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, is known for his incredible catching skills. But his career did come into question with the advent of one infamous catch back in 2014. It's become pretty obvious that Odell was using what have become known as sticky gloves. This is just one form of equipment that has yet to be ruled out by the NFL that allows a player much more grip on the ball. It can make the difference like it did with Beckham's catch in 2014. Odell was still playing for the Giants and they were up against the Cowboys at MetLife Stadium. The receiver took an unbelievably deep throw from Eli Manning, and he was able to reach all the way back and still catch the ball with basically only 2 fingers. At first, most football fans were in utter shock, but were praising the receiver for his unbelievable abilities. But some fans and players took a closer look and realized the gloves may have played a much larger part. According to the MIT Sports Lab, the type of gloves he used had a polymer with much more grip. In fact, they have said that it's about 20% stickier than a human hand. The Eagles quarterback was quoted on saying about Odell's infamous catch, "The gloves definitely helped him with one-handed catches. You rarely see guys with no gloves make one-handed catches."
It's been something I've been doing since college. We would every day go out, catch the ball one hand, every day in practice, try and catch with one hand.
Rich McKay, chairman of the NFL's competition committee, has also said, "There's no long-term statistical data that I've seen, but they definitely make a difference." There's no doubt about that. But Odell isn't the only sticky-gloved culprit. In fact, just the next year, it seemed to hit the college level as well, when one Penn State wide receiver caught an insane one-handed catch on an Ohio State defender that seemed pretty dubious as well. But this wasn't the first time Odell had broken, or at least bent, some of the rules of the NFL. Shortly after being traded from the Giants to the Cleveland Browns, Odell caught some heat for a watch. Into warm-ups, the receiver wore the watch, and then even wore it into the game, which not even his teammates expected. The Richard Mille was $350,000 watch, officially making it the most expensive piece of equipment ever worn in the game. This actually ended up breaking a league rule about wearing hard accessories during league play. Hall of Famer Warren Sapp ended up making his own comments on Odell's watch and his performance of that particular game. He's quoted as saying, "You can't wear a $350,000 watch and play like a $2 bill." Odell responded to the backlash in general, saying, "If it's not this, it's something else. If it wasn't the watch, it would have been the way I tied my shoes." After also possibly paying a fine from the NFL on the watch, he did it again in week 2. And yet again, it was another expensive Richard Mille watch too. Then again, when it came to wearing the watch into the actual game, he thought twice and left it behind in the locker room.
Most recent watch I bought myself. I've always had something on my wrist, whether it was a watch, whether it was rubber bands.
The LA Chargers have a mostly clean record except for one notable blemish back in 2012. The team was caught doing something they shouldn't have been. While facing the Broncos in the Week 15 matchup, everything seemed normal until just after the game ended. The team refused to turn in their towels, and when they finally did, refs found stickum, which is a bannable substance. The tar-like goo can make anything stick and gives receivers an advantage when going for passes. The team ended up being charged $20,000 for refusing to hand in their towels immediately after the game and for using the stickum substance. But the Chargers went on to appeal the ruling and released a statement saying, "Our staff member was unaware a game official was trying to get his attention, and he cooperated fully once he became aware." The appeal didn't stand up though, and the team had to play, and the staff member who attempted to hide the towels ended up being fired.
10 for Roethlisberger. Good block by DeCastro. Going deep and looking for Brown. He's got it!
Antonio Brown has had quite the controversial NFL career. He went from being one of the hottest and best receivers in the league to jobless and looking for any kind of opportunity he could find. His offense was a simple but very costly one. the league decided to change the way they designed their helmets to try and curb concussions. However, Brown quickly reached out to the NFL officials and his own team to let them know that he'd be using his own helmet and he wouldn't take no for an answer. He felt the new helmet blocked his vision, but all the other players quickly followed suit and adjusted to the new rule. Antonio went out to try and find a different regulation helmet that suited him, but this controversy ended when the Raiders dropped him and he was picked up by the Patriots. Not long after, though, even the Pats had to face the tough decision of letting Brown off the team. When Brown refused to speak with the media after games, which was a contractual obligation, they were left no choice. While he could refuse personal questions, he did have to answer any sports-related questions.
Stupid thing.
While the New England Patriots have become one of the most dominating teams in all of NFL history, they have had their fair share of controversy, including one infamous scandal back in 2007. Bill Belichick came under fire when word got out that he had authorized one of his staff members to film the Jets' defense singles from an on-field location. This was a major violation of the NFL's rules, and they had to have security confiscate the camera used by a video assistant to film during the game. The Jets coach was the one to catch the violation and ended up having to report it to security. Mangini is quoted as saying, "I didn't think it was any kind of significant advantage, but I wasn't going to give them a convenience of doing it in our stadium, and I wanted to shut it down." But there was no intent to get the league involved. There was no intent to have the landslide it has become. Belichick released a statement apologizing to any players and staff that were affected by the incident. He even reached out and spoke with Roger Goodell. While things did calm down, the NFL did end up fining Belichick a $500,000 fine for the incident and released a statement reminding all teams about these rules. This was the largest fine ever given out in the history of the NFL. And to top that, the Patriots themselves were fined $250,000 and were stripped of their first-round draft selection in that upcoming draft. But this wasn't the only controversy they were a part of.
Instead of talking about the Super Bowl, all eyes are on the ball. This ball.
What eventually became known as Deflategate has gone down as one of the Patriots' most controversial moments. During the 2014 playoffs, the situation brought an incredible amount of heat to the Patriots when they were splashed across national news headlines. When Jackson picked off a ball thrown by Tom Brady, he first suspected there was something wrong, but went about his business, handing the ball off to his equipment manager to watch over as a souvenir. Still, it wasn't till much later, when Jackson was being driven home by his charter plane, that he began hearing about the controversy. The issue regarded the amount of air in the ball, with a very certain amount being needed to meet NFL standards and regulations. One ref incorrectly saw that many of the Patriots' balls were below the regulated amount, but later that was corrected and they found that it was only one ball that was below the minimum. Belichick is quoted as saying about the incident, "When I came in Monday morning, I was shocked to hear about the news reports about the football. I had no knowledge of the situation until Monday morning. I think we all know that quarterbacks, kicker, specialists have certain preferences on footballs. They know a lot more than I do. They're a lot more sensitive to it than I am. I hear them comment on it from time to time, but I can tell you, and they will tell you, there is never any sympathy whatsoever from me on this subject." Tom's personal preference on his footballs are something that he can talk about in much better detail and information than I could possibly provide. Brady lost a lot of credibility for this, and after an investigation, he took a 4-game suspension despite trying to appeal the ruling. He even released a statement saying, "I am very disappointed by the NFL's decision to uphold a 4-game suspension against me. I did nothing wrong, and no one in the Patriots organization did either." Despite submitting to hours of testimony over the last 6 months, it is disappointing that the commissioner upheld my suspension based on the standard that it was probable that I was generally aware of the misconduct. The fact is that neither I nor any equipment person did anything of which we have been accused. Despite all this happening, Brady hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. In fact, he's gone on to win multiple Super Bowls ever since. The NFL has become a powerful organization filled with lots of money surrounding a very old game. There are rules in place to try to protect teams and the quality of the sport. Of course, many players come under a lot of pressure to try and win.
You didn't want to have to wait till the fourth quarter to bring the team back, but you did a tremendous job.
What better way to go as a fifth-year senior?
This has been NFL Players That Broke the Rules. Please like the video, comment, and subscribe for more content.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.